I was in the Big Red 1, and I was with the first and the second, and I was in 1966 to 1968.
And tell me a few things about what stuck with you from that experience, please.
Well, we had a tough assignment in basic training due to the fact is that we had to sleep in tent and cots when we got to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And that was an experience due to the weather, nice and warm, and had to sleep or take showers in a tent, and it was just a wide open tent. And from that point, I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana for infantry training. And then from that point on was from Vietnam.
And the weather came with you.
And the weather came with us. Hot weather, rainy weather, mosquitoes.
and tell me about a few of the days that you had when you were in country.
In Vietnam?
Yes.
Yeah, well, when I first got over there, we went to Benoit, I think, I don't remember for sure, positive. And they were asking if anybody would be interested in fried egg sandwiches. And I said, oh my gosh, fried egg sandwiches? Heavenly. So I ordered up a fried egg sandwich, a friend of mine and I, and we had that fried egg sandwich, and believe it or not, due to a day or two, we got sick. And I think we were under the weather for about 5 days due to bad eggs. Probably not refrigerated properly. But yeah, I'd never been so sick in my life. That was the first experience of getting into Vietnam. And like you said, going back, the heat, oh my gosh, intensifying.
When did you arrive?
It was October, I think, 25th of 66. I think that was the date that I got there. And go ahead. At some point or another, we did get to our unit that we were supposed to be with, and I was still just sick from fried egg sandwiches. And I said to myself and this friend of mine, I said, I'll never eat a fried egg sandwich again in my life. It was just, horrible. I mean, if you've ever been sick, that's bad. So anyways, got with our unit, and I think it was sometime Christmas Eve or New Year's, that they actually put us on a helicopter and flew me out to, the company, our division was already in combat with somebody. And they actually just flew us in there and dropped us off and said, we'll see you sometime, which was an adventure, getting into something that we'd never, ever been involved with in our life for being that young. It was incredible.
Talk a little bit about the teamwork that you saw over there.
Our teamwork?
Yeah. How did the guys stick together, and did they?
They did, because we were actually with certain groups due to what type of equipment that we had as far as guns and things like that. I was attached to a group where we had a M50 machine gun, and there was, I think, 4 or 5 of us that were involved, where we had to dissect that piece of equipment by taking it apart and carrying certain pieces of it, and carrying the ammunition and everything in that heat and hot weather and whatever. That was something that was really an experience, just due to the fact is that what we were dealing with and actually getting shot at. Which, you know, under normal conditions, it's not a real life thing, but this was for real. And that was that one experience that they just put us in that place of making decisions, and we had got a radio message back from someone stating that they were not going to get out, And this friend and mine that had just been flown into this one area when they were under siege, I said to him, I said, there's a deuce-and-a-half dump truck. I said, do you want to make some history? And he says, no, don't do what I'm thinking you're going to do. You're going to drive that thing in there? And I said, yeah, we're going to drive that thing in there in the middle. And we did. We just put the pedal to the metal, put it in gear, laid down low, drove it right in the middle of the firefight, which was astounding. I mean, what do you do when you're two young kids and you're trying to be creative and help other people out, especially your comrades and your team? And excuse me?
Somebody should have given me a medal.
We weren't looking for a medal. We were looking to, when we heard that word help, we had thought we had to do something. We're sitting back there doing nothing, and they're asking for help. And what do you do when you're a young guy? When you hear that word, you do go help your friends and your comrades. So that was something that they said that, and afterwards, we got a big lecture from our commanding officer, wondering why or what did you think when you had that running through your mind that you were going to do something stupid like that?
Well, stupid is depending on who you ask.
That's right.
And you know, are cut off, it's not stupid.
That's right. And the thing is, you know, we even told them that when we heard you guys over the radio asking for help, you know, we looked around and said to ourselves, between the two of us, well, there's nobody here but us, and who was going to help? So we took a responsibility on our own to help them out. I mean, the other people in the unit, they were happy. I'm not kidding you. They came up and embraced us and thought that we were somebody from somewhere else that came down from heaven and thought that this was something that saved their life. And we did. And that was what our purpose was, to be that part of that team. And they were very, very grateful that we had did that. Our captain was not very happy. Well, you're probably right. And
so coming home?
Coming home, I didn't make it home. I shouldn't say that. I did. I came home in a stretcher. Through the process that I belonged to a group, and in my division was called the 1.5, which was the first or the second. We were called the Black Scarf Battalion, and I was in a recon unit. I had transferred three different times within my unit, and the last one was where I was in a recon unit, and there was only 15 of us people together. That was our group. That's where the camaraderie came in together. We had to work together as a team, and we did, and we didn't make it out. A couple of us only made it out, and I went home in a stretcher. So I spent about 4 or 5 months in the hospital.
Stateside or?
I was overseas a lot. I went to Japan, spent a lot of time there, and then they shipped me to the United States, where I went to back to Fort Riley. I ended up at Fort Riley, and then finally ended up back at Fort Leonard Wood, where I started, which was kind of a neat situation, because I kind of went around in a circle. But I got to see the world in a different fashion, and it was very, very educational as well as experienced, knowledgeable and skilled things that we learned being a young individual and growing up like overnight. And it wasn't just myself, it was everybody that was over there that was encountered with that same situation. And we became men in a short period of time, which I'm very, very grateful to all of them that have came back, and the ones that did not come back. I had a friend of mine that was, I don't remember what, he was either in 101st Airborne, that he was either the first person from Vietnam that was killed in the metro area in Minneapolis here, and the second person that was killed in the state of Minnesota that I had grown up with, which was pretty touching.
Minneapolis, your hometown?
It is.
Anything else you wanted to add for us?
I don't know. I respect all veterans of no matter what service they were in when. And I know my great-grandfather was in the Civil War back in the day. And there's a lot of good people, and I wish them well and a good life, and hope that they can find faith and reality through the rest of their life. God bless them. Yeah, thank you.
He's going to get your microphone from him.
Oh.
Before you stand up, get a microphone.
Oh.
Sure. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thanks for doing this for all of the veterans, no matter who they are.
There we go.
Yeah.